Hello and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. Today I have another MLM that I don't think I've really covered on my channel at all, and that is Young Living. So there was a call sent to me by an individual, actually two separate calls. So thank you to that individual so much for sending these my way. They are literally pure gold in terms of reaction content. So the one we're reacting to today is about using Young Living oils for your sex life. So as always, this training is sure to bring as much cringe as we could ask for, and then some.
I've been getting you the worst of me. Now you wanna stay the night. Pity how you weren't caught for me. But forgetting how to talk. Nah, I don't like no humble beats. Just go and suss it up.
Now, if you're new here, you should know that I do not blur out the faces or the names of the individuals that I am reacting to. That is just a personal choice, but it does not mean that I am inciting hate toward these individuals, and I am also not encouraging anybody to go and seek these people out and send them hateful messages or leave mean comments.
Don't do it.
My content is purely for educational and entertainment purposes only, so let's keep it that way. I do also want to give you a trigger warning that this individual is going to discuss SA abuse and things in that area. So if anything to do with SA or abuse does trigger you, then definitely excuse yourself from this video. I do actually have a full trigger-free playlist that I will link up in the corner here, so you can go and watch those videos if you haven't watched them yet, and be safe. With that said, if you can handle that, this is definitely going to bring us some cringe and awareness to what the fuck is going on in Young Living. Let's get the fuck into it.
Welcome to our Monday night call. I look forward to teaching this topic every year. I think I have taught this every year in February for probably 8 or 9 years. And it is always powerful. I always love doing it. And I always love hearing the stories that come out of it. I'll share a couple of my favorites with you along the way. But it has been a really, really fun thing just to see the difference that this conversation can make. This is a conversation that I think sometimes we don't have enough as women and don't talk about enough, are just the things, we're not just talking tonight about sex. We're talking about just the overall parts of us that crave intimacy on a physical level, on a mental level, on an emotional level, and on a spiritual level. And we as human beings are always all of those things, and it is all combined. So anytime that we try to keep it all separate.
So the first thing that I want to address is that she mentioned she gives this specific training every year. I just looked her up really quickly, and she does not have any credentials to be doing this.
We've never been given credentials.
She is not a licensed professional in any way, shape, or form. She signed up for an MLM and now thinks she has the right to give sex advice using essential oils.
And where we think that we can just work on one of those aspects, then we never get the results that we are looking for. We think that we can just say, oh, I'm just going to go and work on my hormones and it's going to take care of this. It's not, because you are also an emotional being. And we have to literally, there are thoughts and so many other factors impact us in this way. And we talk so much about, in this community, we talk so much about how the oils and the things that we use are wonderful. But what is really and truly amazing is your body. Just unbelievable. And the entirety of you and the way that you were made to connect with other people. And we're going to talk about this as we go through tonight is a massive, giant therapy call. Just fair warning. That is what this is every year. And I would think you would expect nothing less.
She's not a therapist. So for her to even say that should raise incredible amounts of red flags.
That may be a big red flag.
She is calling this a therapy call. and she is not a therapist. This is dangerous.
With a topic like this, and I think that it is so needed. But just if you are someone who has struggled with feeling like you are worthy of connection, or feeling like there is any hope for you to have connection, I am so glad you are here. If you have someone else in your life who feels that way, go text them and tell them to get on this call, because I want to speak some love into you and help you to hear a different message than the one that you may have been telling yourself for a very long time. This is going to be a night of hope. And so I just make sure you grab somebody else that maybe needs to be here, and let's just go through this together. So I want to talk about first, what is intimacy? Intimacy is a desire that we have in us from the very beginning to be close and connected. For me personally, I believe that's because we were made to be connected to our Creator. With our spirit, we were made to be spiritually connected.
If you have a bingo card for whatever reason, mark off faith manipulation.
We also have a mind that was created to be ruled by unconditional love and self-control and soundness, to be able to connect with other people on a mental level. We were created to have emotions that are not in charge of us, but are allowed to fuel us and give us a passion and give us, a way to be excited and to connect on a level that isn't just something we think about or physically feel, but something that we feel to our very core, and that makes us feel whole. It is also a body that is cared for and nourished in a way so that it is free to serve us, instead of being weighed down and unable to perform the acts of connection that we so desperately crave and want. And so I believe that to truly experience intimacy, again, we can do any one of those parts, but we have to think about all of them together to get the results that we're looking for. And I believe this is one of the reasons that our world craves and just keeps fighting and striving and pushing for one more way to be sexier, or to have a new experience, or to look at one more thing, or to try one more thing, because what we're looking for is an experience that encompasses our spirit, mind, body, and emotions. And instead, we keep trying to have it with different types of experience to create excitement and to create that fullness that we're looking for. And we can't find it by one more different type of experience. We can't find it by one more exciting way to have sex. We can't find it by one more of all those things. We can do those things and still feel empty, because intimacy is made to be so much bigger than that. You can choose intimacy in your life. And I want to go through this really carefully here, because I want to say some really important things to you. Even if someone else in your life does not choose intimacy to the degree that you do, you can choose to pursue closeness and an unwalled, unconditional love for others, even when we have been through hurt. Even when we have been through unspeakable things, there is a healing available to us, and our bodies are incredible in their ability to continue to learn to function, to work through trauma, to process so many things, and to achieve what you may not even believe is possible.
There's so much word salad here.
Blah, blah, blah.
And in my opinion, what I think that it's doing to the people that are in this MLM and watching this training, it's manipulating them to the max, as far as like almost putting the thought in people's mind, like, I don't actually need therapy. I'm just gonna use my oils. There's therapy for everything. And if you need therapy for your sex life or your intimacy, if you have issues with intimacy, there are therapy options for that. And this is putting the thought in people's minds that they don't need a trained professional to help them with this. They just need Young Living community and the oils that they provide. It's horseshit.
So oils and the way that they work in our body, the way aromatherapy works in our body is really powerful because it goes straight to kind of the CEO system of our brain that's in charge of the whole business happening inside our head. And
they really love to overuse the term CEO. Now we have CEOs in our brain. What the actual is happening?
What we feel, right? And so as if you are a woman, you already know that in terms of acts of physical intimacy, you know how much your brain is in charge. Am I right? Like your brain is totally in charge. And it's what you're thinking is going to have all the impact on what's going on, right? So we know that. And aromatherapy is amazing because it's like it has a direct phone line to the CEO in our brain that's telling our hormones how to function and our body how to function and all of those other factors. And it is the only sense that we have, like sight, all the things, is the only sense we have that goes directly to that CEO and bypasses our brain having to figure it out. So it's not like it doesn't go to send a message to the brain and then the brain has to process it. It goes past that. Aromatherapy and our sense of smell goes past that straight to that command control center and tells the rest of us what to do. So as we are using our oils in this area, they're able again to go to that command control center and tell us to relax, tell us to let go, tell us to experience something new, to all of these different things that we are doing, which is really incredible.
Okay, sure. I agree to an extent that aromatherapy does have positive effects for certain things. For example, I get migraines, and recently I started trying peppermint oil, not from an MLM, by the way.
I never do that.
On my temples and under my nose, and it helps with my migraines. But it is not a cure-all. Like, I still have medications. I still have doctors that I have to see. I still have follow-up appointments that I have to go to because they're the professionals that are going to tell me what else I could be doing and make sure there's not anything else going on and I don't need anything aside from the medications that I'm already on, as well as the peppermint oil and whatever else helps my headaches. Like, this is so infuriatingly dangerous. I don't even know if that's a term, but I fucking make terms up on my channel, okay? And now that is my term.
A few oils that work in the body in different ways and help us to kind of release different patterns and that we have had experience with. One is rose oil, and it can help us with a fear of intimacy. If that is something that you have experienced or are experiencing, rose can help your body to basically, the oil send a message to your body that it's safe to let go of things that it has held on to protect us. Truly, if our body did not regulate it, there is a truth to the fact that terrible experiences and emotions could actually kill us. It could actually be so bad and so hard that it would kill us. But our body knows how to say, you can't handle this right now, and kind of grab it and put it in a closet. And our emotions match up with different frequencies in our organs and things. And so it stores emotions in different parts of our body in little closets until we are safe enough to process those. The problem is that often we don't come back and do that. So we just leave our closets in horrible condition. And then we eventually something happens and the door opens and everything falls out of the closet and it's really terrifying. And then we melt down. So what we have to do every once in a while is go to those closets and open them up and clean them out. And oils help us to do that, help us to process and tell our body it's safe and it's time to open the closet and work through the things.
No. Please, God, don't take her advice. I am not a licensed therapist, but I know a few things about therapy as I have been in therapy. I deal with depression. I have PTSD that I don't talk about hardly ever because, I do that in therapy. Hear me out, okay? Like, yeah, it's good to work through your stuff, but oils and then sitting down by yourself and opening these closets and working through that is the worst idea I've ever heard for dealing with trauma that you may have stored away. Like she said, there's a reason your body does that because you don't have the coping mechanisms to deal with those things. That's why you go to therapy, to get those coping mechanisms and have somebody who is licensed and trained in these specific things help you work through them. And so if you don't have a trained professional helping you work through them, things can go awry very quickly, and it can be very dangerous. This woman is one of the most harmful people I have ever seen in my life, and I've only been watching her for 10 minutes. What the fuck? And the even scarier part is that she maybe wouldn't be giving this information if she wasn't getting the okay or the insinuated okay from the higher ups at Young Living. This is what the reps are doing in Young Living, and this is why it needs to fucking stop. This is awful.
And so Rose can help us with that fear of intimacy. Energy is another blend that can help us with patterns of isolation. If we've used isolation to protect ourselves and we tend to kind of hold ourselves aloof from too deep of a connection with other people. And I want to encourage you that while I will get to obviously the physical intimacy part of this, intimacy is something that we need with other people, period, whether that is all the way to a sexual relationship or not. We need that. And so some of these things work in different types of relationships as well. So if you find yourself in a pattern of isolation to protect yourself, energy oil is your friend. White Angelica is an oil that we use to help us with a pattern of loneliness. If we are finding ourselves with people, but always alone, always in that place of feeling like we're disconnected, then that can be a tremendous oil to use. I want to talk briefly about those of you who have had an experience in your life where the intimacy of your life and what you should have been able to choose to share with another person in the way that you chose, that was taken from you through abuse and through betrayal. That is, a pain that is indescribable and that affects so many countless people. You are not alone. If that is something you have experienced, you're not the only one sitting on this call thinking this may be so easy for the rest of them, but I feel so broken and I feel so betrayed and someone took this away from me. And now I don't have the ability to choose how I connect with other people in this way because of what I have experienced.
What? Ma'am, you cannot address people with a history of being SA'd or having something happen to them that was traumatic in this department of their life when you are not licensed to do so. You don't know what that's going to unpack for them. And when you hang up this call, you better hope that they are okay. Because if they are not, things can go very wrong. She's not a therapist. She's talking to these people as a group and just assuming they're going to be fine. They have their oils. Fuck no, they're not. No. I'm speechless. And I think we all know that doesn't happen very often here on my channel.
And I just want to tell you, first of all, you are very loved and you are very whole, because here is the beautiful thing. No one can take that away from you. They can make a choice. They can be horrific. They can make a decision, but your intimacy is still yours to give. It is you. Someone harming you physically or mentally, emotionally cannot take away your decision to be able to share yourself with others. That is yours. It will never be taken from you. You get to decide. You get to decide if you connect. They can do something to you, but they can't change anything in you. That is yours to give. And it is still yours to give. And it is still a powerful gift that you have to give to others, regardless of what has happened in your life. And I just want you to hear that so clearly. And I am so passionate about women, especially understanding this, is that that this is not something that is over for you, or something that was missed, or something that you didn't get to participate in. This is something that is still available to you in every way. It is work. It is hard. And I am so sorry for what you have experienced. But I just want you to know, we talk all the time about there not being closed doors and there not being dead ends. When we talk about health, that is true here too. No closed doors, no dead ends. There is so much healing available to you, and you are so precious and so worthy of love and respect and intimacy.
Which is going against everything that you're giving them, because you're not giving them the actual fucking tools they need to get through this. You're giving them fucking oils and saying it will heal them.
You're nothing but a silver-tongued snake oil salesman.
So you're harming them further. And not to mention, like I said, you are now stirring up these feelings that they weren't expecting to feel when they got on this call, I can bet, because there was no kind of trigger warning or anything in the beginning of this. And now they have to hang up this call, like I said, and be in their feelings, these feelings that they maybe don't have the coping mechanisms to deal with, and try and work through them on their own, because you're not a therapist and you didn't actually help them with anything.
So as you think through that, I want you to focus on the truth that you are worth pursuit, you are worth protection, and you are worth prizing. And as you work through these emotions, it will change so much about how you are able to connect with others. So some oils that we use in this way are Sarah, which was actually formulated for processing abuse. It is not only used for that, but it is a powerful way to work to, again, tell your body it is safe to let go. It is safe, that protecting you by cutting you off is no longer needed. There may have been some point in your life where you were required to cut people out to protect yourself, but you have learned and you have grown and you know how to protect yourself and you know how to take care of yourself. And this oil can go in and say, hey, we don't have to protect ourselves from everyone. There are safe people. There are people worthy of our trust and worthy of connecting with.
I am in the twilight zone. This snake oil is not going to cure your trauma. It's just not. Maybe, big maybe, if you pair it with therapy and those coping mechanisms and figuring out how to work through them, maybe it will help. But it's, in my opinion, fucking snake oil. It's not going in and doing anything. Oil is not going to heal your trauma.
Another is highest potential, which is an oil that helps us with the feeling of being powerless. Obviously, this is such a huge part of any situation like that. And you may very well have needed to disassociate from a situation where you felt powerless, like a deep connection with another person. There's a vulnerability there. And there may have been a season of your life where you really had to move away from that type of vulnerability. Highest potential can help you work through where it is actually safe to connect on that level. Another is lemon, which helps us with processing emotions of self-blame. obviously, when someone has invaded the intimacy of your life in an incorrect way, one of the first things that happens is we start to blame ourselves to see where we could have done something different, where we could have prevented, where we could have. No, that is on them, that they chose to do that. That is on them. And so we are going to tell our body, no, this is not on you to be responsible for the actions of others, not on you to be responsible for what happened to you, and releasing that with that lemon oil.
This woman can't believe what she's saying, right? She can't believe that when we're putting lemon oil anywhere, whether we're diffusing it or putting it, I don't know, anywhere, it's going to let us let go. She can't actually believe that this oil is just going to magically do that.
Also, lemon helps with regret, kind of similar in those emotions. Next is forgiveness oil, which helps us process feelings of betrayal, and peace and calming, which helps us to process emotions of being a victim. And obviously, just letting us identify, yes, it is true. And we don't have to say, oh, this didn't happen. I wasn't a victim. Nothing happened to me. That is not how we heal. We know those things are possible, but that those things did happen, but our identity is not the identity of a victim. Our identity is that you are a beautiful, powerful, loved, precious human worthy of connection who has been in a victim situation, but it is not who you are. And so that is what we are working through processing. So as we move through tearing down those walls, that is some of the initial work that we have to do. Every wall that we keep up, which may again have been needed at some point in our lives, every wall that we put up is a protection mechanism, but it is between us and the other people in our lives. It is between us and that spouse. It is between us and the people that we long so much to connect to. And so we have to work to take those walls down and realize that we have grown and we are stronger and we can take care of ourselves without those walls. Now, the second piece after that is the physical piece of being able to be physically intimate with others. And this is directly tied to several aspects of our health. One of those is hormonal health. Our hormones they're just kind of in charge of a lot of things. And so they're out there regulating a lot of the factors that determine our desire for physical intimacy and our body's ability to cooperate in that and have the experiences that we want to have with that. So some of the big things that are necessary for great physical intimacy experiences are having good amounts of just basic nutrition, that in our Nature Red or things like that, where our body just has what it needs, because a depleted body is going to have a very difficult time.
Her Nutri-Red is going to give us the nutrients.
How about no?
How about eating a balanced diet is going to give you the nutrients, not Young Living? Why? I get that you have to sell your product and whatever to make your money, but this is harmful in all of the ways you could possibly think.
Being involved in an act like that it takes energy and takes giving. And so we need lots of good nutrition. Progesterone. It's very difficult as a woman to feel all of the things that you want to feel with physical intimacy or the desire there without progesterone. We live in a society that is very high estrogen and very low progesterone, which leads to a very out of balance experience when it comes to our sexual ability and drive and experience. Mr. for guys is one that can be really helpful in terms of testosterone, as well as Shutron and Idaho blue spruce. We are in an absolute epidemic of testosterone problems. And the synthetic versions of what we're doing to deal with it are not cutting it, and the side effects are enormous. We have to work on this. And it is a many faceted thing, but I really encourage you to start using those oils and seeing what can be done in that regards.
Sure. Yeah. Try holistically before you have to go to the medications and such. But there is no shame in having to get the medications and such. That's what they're there for. They're there to help people who cannot generate these hormones on their own. That's what they're there for. And again, I'm not saying trying holistically first is dumb and you should go and get medication. No, not at all. I also like to try things like changing my diet or doing different things to see if I can fix things that are going awry in my body before I turn to medication. But there is literally no shame in doing that if that is the thing that works for you. And I hate that so many times in all health and wellness MLMs, like Young Living, doTERRA, Optavia, all of those things, they are so quick to judge or come across as judging the people who turn to the medications and the synthetics that it drives me absolutely nuts. Like, that's what they're there for. And if people have to take those, if that's what they choose to do with their body, then shut the fuck up. Just let it be.
And see if that is helpful for your relationship. It is, I don't want to speak for the guys, but I just have seen it to be so true that there is this is an area where they want to give well and love well. And I think guys get a bad rap because there's a lot of almost joking around this being so important to them and making up so much of what they think about, but it's how they're wired, guys. And they want so badly to connect with us in this way. They want to do it well. And they want to, it is a key piece of how we interact as a female and a male. And so I think so often we're kind of like, oh, well, when everything is all right and everything is all good and I've got all my things taken care of and I feel great, then I'll connect with you on this level because it's the lower method of connection. A woman can tend to think that way. And a guy is so different. He's like, if we can just connect this way, then I can make my brain work to have that conversation with you. And I can feel my emotions come into some type of like contained thing where I can connect emotionally with you. And so we need to recognize that in each other. And so it's so important for him to have that testosterone where it needs to be, and for us to realize those deep needs in each other to connect in all the ways, the mental, the emotional, the physical, and to give and to take and receive in those ways that will allow us that full connection that we were meant to be able to experience. Another oil that's great for supporting hormones is sclerescence. Again, just helping with that balance. Dragon Time, and ylang ylang. You guys, I put ylang ylang on every single morning. It is in my bathroom with my progesterone and my Endoflex, and I am popping that on because there's just such a good, to me, balance in my hormonal state with using that oil, and it's a beautiful perfume. Our thyroid is crucial in our physical ability to experience intimacy. It regulates, again, so much of that of our libido and so many other things. Endoflex is really important for our thyroid, and then Thyromin if your thyroid needs some extra support and nourishing.
You know what is also great for your thyroid if you're having issues is an endocrinologist. They can help you. They also have options to give you before they give you medication if that's the route you want to go. Oils, ain't it?
Thyroid is a big topic, but just because you've been told your thyroid levels are normal, that does not mean that they are for you. And it doesn't mean that you don't need some added support if you are experiencing lots of symptoms of that being out of whack. And a lot of functional doctors can help you get to the root of that. Adrenals are another key factor. When your adrenals are in the tank, which they are for so many people after years of stress and lack of sleep and low minerals and all of the things, then it's very difficult for intimacy to work well. So nutmeg is an inexpensive and simple support rubbed over the adrenals. Energy oil, like we talked about earlier, emotionally, Ningxia red and nitro are all good, as well as mineral essence, really giving your body and restoring your adrenals.
This woman is out here walking around smelling like the Whole Foods vitamin section mixed with the spice cabinet.
It smells like nuts.
So we have a grocery store in Colorado, and I say in Colorado because we didn't have it when I lived in Connecticut. It's called Natural Grocers. And when you walk in there, it smells very earthy, if that's the word. And I just picture these people in Young Living that are talking about putting oil everywhere for everything, smelling exactly like that grocery store. And it's not like a super flattering smell for a human to smell that way. So I don't know. It's pretty interesting. Anyway.
Sleep between the hours of 10 and midnight can also be real awesome for your adrenals. I know that's hard to hear because we have lots to do. And I, as a mom of 9 kids, understand that and struggle with it. But you will be shocked the difference you will feel with a little bit of sleep before midnight, because that is when your adrenals are really working to heal. So
I'm sorry, but those of us in our 30s, how often are we staying up past midnight? I'm falling asleep by 9 o'clock. So I don't know.
If that's when your intimacy is happening is after midnight, you may also be not experiencing the peak of what you could if you're exhausted and all the things as well. Your blood flow is really important. Your circulation and the blood flow is what creates the sensations that you're looking for during sex and physical intimacy. The experience that you really want to have and those physical sensations that you're really wanting to increase and to feel really good, and that what you're looking for there is about blood flow to those areas of the body. And so cypress and nutmeg are both incredibly helpful there. Cypress can be applied to the inside of the thighs and used topically. It is just tremendous for just the circulatory cardiovascular system of the body and the blood flow there. I promise you will not be sorry.
I have to add some light to this, okay? Because this is heavy. I'm pretty sure that if my partner were to smell me and I smelled like the fucking vitamin cottage, that would be an immediate turnoff. I'm not gonna be turned on by the smell of a vitamin cottage.
My vagina would just retract.
It's just not happening.
If that is something, guy or girl, that you start using, it is such a quick way to see what is possible for oils and how that it's possible for them to help you in increasing your experiences. There are also lots of oils that just kind of work like aphrodisiacs, oils like orange and jasmine, and they've been used, you guys, for thousands of years in that way. We think we're so smart today. People knew this so long ago, and they were using these scents and these aromas in their intimacy and in these experiences. And we're just like, oh, we figured this out. It's like, no, guys, we knew this like in Egypt.
Well, because the world didn't change at all since the people in Egypt were using those things. So it worked for them. It has to work for us who are constantly exposed to electronics, blue light, stress of life, traffic, a pandemic. None of that factors into it at all, right? They were using it. It worked for them. So it's going to work for us now.
So those are things that you can put in the diffuser. One thing that really helps your brain is in kind of the process of, so like I said, as women, our brain really rules our physical experience, right? It's kind of can be different for guys, but for girls, it's that way. Our brain decides if our body is going to fall into line. And so creating something that sends signals to your brain that it's time for this that it can settle down and start thinking about this can be really important for a woman. It's very hard to turn off our day and move into that mode, right? So creating a pattern where you start your diffuser with a certain oil is it can be really beneficial. Maybe you choose ylang ylang, maybe you choose sensation, maybe you guys don't like those floral scents and you want to go with something like orange, or you want to go with a tree oil or something like that. You pick, your call. But you put something in your diffuser that is a sign that it is time to go into that mode. And I promise you, it will start to help your body to relax and to be ready and want to, and just want to settle into that mode, you know, because that can just be so difficult for us to do. So another thing is dryness. Obviously, that tends to be a problem with age, but it's also can just be a problem anytime estrogen is low or things are out of balance. Clary sage can help with that. A lot of people are confused. Clary sage does not contain any estrogen, but it contains precursors to estrogen, phytoestrogens, which then the body can use to make more estrogen if it is needed. We have massage oils that have the oils in them, and one of them is the dragon time massage oil, and you can use that topically, and it is tremendous in regards to the dryness. Just use it topically during your sex and just see what happens. Promise you're going to be happy.
Topically where? First of all, topically at all can be bad for your skin, depending on like how, like I have super sensitive skin, so I have to be careful. And I know a lot of people of my complexion, which is transparent, have the same type of reactions to certain things. Topically where? Just don't do it. Don't do it. There are other options that are better.
And we have other massage oils like Sensation that can be amazing. They're awesome lubricants. There are ingredients in commonly used lubricants that are not great. And so obviously you want to be careful what you're using in sensitive areas, and our massage oils have much better ingredients for that.
No, abort mission. Like I said, do not put these massage oils, I'm just going to say it, in your vagina. Don't do it. That can end very badly.
And then as far as libido goes, having your progesterone balanced is really important. But you guys, I want to tell you something super crazy. How many of you did the recovery challenge with us in January where we took the longevity supplement every day? So weren't looking for this. We were just looking for recovery, and we had all been on our longevity for a week or two, and people started being like, so are you feeling a lot more that way than you were before? And everyone started like comparing notes and realizing that this process of giving our body
a lot more that way. Can you not even say it? Like, are you feeling a lot more horny? Just say it. Just say, my video is going to fucking get demonetized. And you know what? I don't care. I want to expose what's going on in Young Living when it comes to this. So, you'll win some, you'll lose some.
What it needs, you guys. We keep saying this, and it's just so exciting. It never gets old. You give your body what it needs, and it just starts doing all this really cool stuff. And it is that process of homeostasis. Our body is always trying to come upright. And we give it, the cool thing is, guys, I get very geeked out about this, but when we try to force a certain response, a lot of times like what we do with synthetic things, we're trying to force a certain response, like increase progesterone or whatever we're trying to do. But when we use natural things that work with the body's homeostasis and just work to bring it into upright, all these other things start happening. And so longevity has thyme oil, and it has frankincense and these other things that are relaxing to the body, that are hormonally supportive. So here our bodies were over like this. And we should have known. We did a recovery challenge to work exactly on bringing our body back to this state of homeostasis. And sure enough, our libido comes back and all of these other factors. So I'm not making promises. I'm not telling you that it will 100% work for you. I'm just telling you that I was postpartum and going through all the normal things, and it was dramatic and very much connected to that because I had already been using the other product, which is the CBD boost, every single night. And that has the rose oil in it, which again works on our intimacy and connections there, and is such a high frequency oil, but combined it with the longevity. And you guys, it was just amazing. So, definitely a winner there. Please go grab that. And so now we're going to talk about a few things. There's a lot more that you could go into there. There's so many other oils and products that you can use, but that gives you a start. I don't want to overwhelm you. So let's talk about a few things that can kind of steal intimacy for women and steal kind of our desire or our physical ability or our emotional state or all of those things. So one of them is exhaustion. Can I get an amen? I mean, my chat should be blowing up, guys. Can we just say that I feel like that belonged first on the list? But one of those is exhaustion. And you guys, exhaustion is obviously a physical state, and we need nutrition. We need the supplements that give our body the B vitamins, the other things that it needs, our NingXia, our nitro, our minerals. We cannot not be exhausted from a depleted state where we aren't giving our body the nutrition that it needs. So we've got to work on that, right? But you guys, exhaustion is also an emotion. It is also an emotion that we store in our body, and we begin to create an identity around that. I am an exhausted person. I own my emotions of exhaustion, and that is who I am. And one of the ways that we release that is through the oil Panaway. Panaway can help us to release that identity and those emotional patterns of exhaustion that we have decided to own and make a part of who we are.
I have not decided to own exhaustion, but I do feel tired a lot of the times. And oil isn't the answer. I don't understand why these people think snake oil is going to work for everything. Maybe going to help you in certain areas, not the vagina area, but
So you can put Panaway in your diffuser. Have you ever put Panaway in your diffuser? Totally can. You can also drop it under your tongue. Spicy, fair warning, it's hot. Or just use it in the topical ways that you do. For those of you that don't know, Panaway is our favorite, like muscle relaxing oil. But you guys, what is it doing to your muscles? I tell you this all the time.
It's relaxing your muscles. Just drop it in your mouth. Please don't ingest oil. Don't do that. There are things that have happened to people that you can feel free to Google that proves that ingesting these essential oils is dangerous.
Don't think about like, this oil is for this, like this oil is for muscles, right? Think about what the oil is doing. The oil is relaxing your muscles. It's going in and soothing your tense body and letting it relax. That's what it does for your emotions. It's taking your tense body and helping it to relax. And it can do that in other ways too, which is going to lead to far better intimacy, because we have trouble with that whole relaxing thing. And that's what we need to deeply connect with another person. All right. Next is, I told you we were doing therapy tonight. Next intimacy stealer for women is resentment.
This is not fucking therapy. Stop calling it therapy. This isn't therapy. You're telling them to use oils, a ton of oils, so they smell like a vitamin cottage, and that's it. She's not licensed. She's not a therapist. She's none of these things. Again, she signed up for an MLM, handed over some money, got a starter kit, and thought, therapy.
So we take all of the things piled up that are the things that did not happen in the way that we wished they would happen, the things that are disappointing, the things that, and most often, yes, it can be resentment against our partner, but most often it's resentment against ourselves that is eating us alive. and the ways that we are not enough, and the ways that we have not shown up, and the ways that my body is not what it should be, and I don't look like I should, and this shouldn't happen, and all of these things. And those are huge detractors in our ability to connect with another person. That resentment keeps us pushing. Think about it like, magnets that are the same and they push each other away. Resentment literally does that. It like repels people from us. So resentment is lemongrass. Pop that baby in your diffuser when you're getting ready to have sex or do whatever. Go work through that, let go of some of those things, and see if you don't see a difference.
I don't know about that, but lemongrass does actually work for mosquitoes. I had this like lemongrass body spray it had the oil in it. And so I tried it one time because I read it somewhere. I was like, let me see if this works. And it worked. There's one thing that lemongrass oil is good for, but curing resentment, probably not at the top of the list.
Next, intimacy stealer for women. And obviously I say women just because these are the experiences. I'm going to do men in a minute. This could be totally switched around depending on your experiences. But the next one is control, right? Women, do we not struggle with this? It's a little bit of an out of control thing. The whole sexual intimacy thing is a little bit out of control. And depending on our personality, it can be very hard to put ourselves in that position where things feel very much about feeling and not about, being able to really make it go a certain way and the right way. And the way that is, all of these checkbox things, it's not a checkbox thing. It's a woo kind of a thing. And depending on our personality, that can be very difficult. So peace and calming can help us to release some of those emotions that keep that from happening.
She is really heavily stereotyping men and women, and it's kind of annoying me. Not all people fit the stereotype that she's portraying women or men to be.
Next is expectations. Expectations of ourselves, expectations of our partner all through the day, things that our partner should have helped us with by the time we got to that evening, ways that they should have been home sooner, and ways that the day should have gone, and ways that we should have been responded to, and ways that last week was supposed to go, and ways that our life should be happening. And all of the things, those expectations, which lead to resentment, are eating us alive. And I want to tell you something, just please, friends, to all of us, speaking to myself, our expectations being unmet are robbing us of our one beautiful life. They are, guys. We had this thought of how it's supposed to be. And unfortunately, when it comes to intimacy, Hollywood has created this for us. TV, porn has created this. We are in such a bad place where there are these expectations of what intimacy should be.
Now we're demonizing TV and porn. There's nothing wrong with those things. There are things that are wrong within those things, certain genres and such, if you will, but it's not inherently bad just because you don't like it. And people shouldn't feel shame for it.
And it's just not the way it is. Intimacy should be you beautifully connecting with that other person, whatever that looks like, whatever your body looks like, whatever that experience is in that moment. If it is real and true connection, it does not matter if it even faintly resembles what some ridiculous script somewhere that can be all made to look all perfect and, made to all the cellulite to go away and all the things. It's not real, guys. It's not real. And what is real is you and your partner who has chosen to be with you in that moment, chosen you.
I will agree with that small segment that we just heard. Everybody has cellulite. You can't go through life and get older and not have cellulite. Totally normal. And this is something I'm working through, but you should and could feel comfortable in the body you're in and treat it right and be proud of what you have. Like, be proud of it. And the person you're with doesn't care if you have cellulite on your legs. They don't care. I mean, they just want to get in, right? Like, they don't care. I'm just being honest.
Whatever state your body is in right now, chosen to want to be close to you. And that is what is real. That is what we want to focus on. And that is what is stealing our life out from under our nose if we are not so careful. So that whale is actually Sarah, which takes us, I know we talked about that being the one for abuse and trauma, but you guys, expectations, unmet expectations are trauma. That is all hand in hand. Trauma is about situations where we don't feel like we have the tools to deal with what is going on. And so that all goes hand in hand. Unmet expectations fall right into that and create a lot of the trauma in our lives.
So now she's defining trauma? How is this okay? This can't be okay, right?
Our next is anxiety. And when we are anxious, it is very difficult to get our body to relax into a state where we're ready for physical intimacy. Orange can be really helpful with that. It's a great one to put in the diffuser. It's a great one to maybe put on your chest so that you're smelling it. And it's just like, it's such a yummy kind of a fruity scent and so perfect for the mood and all of that to go along with it. So that's another great one to use. All right, let's go into intimacy stealers for men. And again,
it sounded like Jeopardy for a second. I'll take intimacy stealers for men for 100. I'm such an asshole. Sometimes when these Huns start rambling so much, I just can't really listen anymore. And I just start making jokes of what the fuck they're saying. If you're new here, welcome.
This can go back and forth. So I'm not saying this is just one or the other, but these are ones that we commonly have seen to be the case. One that can be an intimacy stealer for them is stress, physical stress. Just whether it's work or relationships or whatever it is, they hold stress very physically in tension. And so that is eucalyptus radiata can help to release that. That's another great one for the diffuser or to rub the muscles with. And then emotional stress. So often for men, it can be very difficult to connect emotionally and with words with other guys to release stress, or even with us, just how they were taught to communicate or what they were shown was okay for them, or just their kind of verbal skills, or just depending on what their personality is, that can be difficult. And harmony is a great oil for them to release that emotional stress. Another one for men is fatigue, a little bit different than the exhaustion that we talked about with Panaway. Fatigue is more of a, it's a weariness. I've been doing this for so long, jobs that they don't love. A life, again, that doesn't look like, even they don't recognize, where the same thing happens day after day after day. Go do the thing, be treated a certain way at work, whatever it is, come home, lots of responsibilities. And again, we all have this experience, but it's a little bit different than the exhaustion. And that oil is inspiration. Inspiration can help us to release those patterns of fatigue and start thinking differently and opening up new doors of thought of how we could change or shift or just be different in the situation that we're in. And then not enough. That is a very difficult one for guys in terms of intimacy. If they feel like they are not enough for the significant other in their life, then that can make it very difficult to connect in that way. Abundance is the oil for that. You guys, abundance is a little bit of a warm, spicy kind of oil, but it's another one you can use topically if you are brave and courageous and want to dilute it.
Seriously, you can't tell me that her and all these people on the call actually believe that all of these oils are going to fix your not enoughness, your insecurities of everything, your stress. Like, no, just no.
And it is not a bad experience. I'm just telling you right now. And then also helps with, you can put it in the diffuser and all of those things to help with that. They can put it on over their heart, whatever it is that kind of helps emotionally. Then lack of respect is an intimacy stealer. You know, women really struggle with the expectations, with the connection factor, but for guys, and it doesn't have to be a lack of respect from the partner. It can just be a lack of respect in their lives. This could be happening at work from an employer. It could be happening from coworkers, so many other places, but that is such a draining thing for our guys. And that oil is hope.
Hope dealers. Sidebar here. So I was driving the other day and I'm driving downtown and I look over and I see this fucking white SUV and the license plate said Hope Dealer. And then I got closer to the car and it had an Arbonne emblem. So they were a car earner. Anyway, back to this video.
Hope that there is something outside of that respect can be gained, that there could be, again, changes made, all of those things. And then lack of confidence. And that oil is Hong Kwai, which is another really great underused oil. It's very high frequency oil that helps with those emotions of confidence and those feelings of confidence. All right. Now, wrapping us up here, I'll go back to kind of just some kind of boosters to the actual just sex experience. We talked about the massage oils, sensation, Shutron. I know not every girl is this way, but guys, if you have not tried Shutron, girls, if you have not gotten Shutron for your guys, I think if more guys understood what Shutron does to more girls, we would have a very happy, lots of connections happening all over the place. You guys, it is amazing. And the smell, the connection, the way it can boost all the right things for the guy and then create all the right feelings in the girl is a really, really great deal. It can be worn as cologne. It can be worn just when it's the signal, however you want to do it.
What are we giving bat signals when it's time to go get it on? What the
but it is such a great oil. We have a whole line of things like soap and beard product and shaving cream and all kinds of stuff that the guys can use with that. And it is pretty stinking amazing. And then Idaho blue spruce. If your guy is struggling in this area, some guys like to take Idaho blue spruce in capsules. And again, it's a testosterone thing and can kind of help the body to start regulating itself there. The massage oils are great as lubricants and also just used as massage oils to help to relax and get ready for connection in that way.
Please don't put blue spruce in your vagina. Don't put it in your hoo-ha. Nope.
Trying to think what else I'm missing. Don't forget the cypress for that blood flow. And if you are kind of getting older and experiencing some of the things that go along with that, then you may want to look into Prinolone or Fimogen and some of those supplements that give you even more of an added boost to get the hormones where they're belonging. Our whole call next week is on menopause and everything that goes along with that. So make sure you tune in there if you have a lot of interest in sort of hormones as we keep moving on in age and life and the way our hormones and body are working. So those were all some factors that are there. There is a book called Lucy Libido that has a lot of other suggestions in terms of oils and products and things that can work. Powergize, both for men and women, is a great support for just your overall endocrine system. Or there's also Indigize that can kind of be better for women. But those are some great things to consider if you just feel so depleted that none of these type things really seem to make much of a difference. Then you may really need those heavy hitters of things like the Powergize and the Endogize. If your stress levels feel so high that you just feel like you're in that fight or flight all the time and just so frazzled that you can't connect on any level, you may want to look into the supplement Cortistop, which helps with your cortisol levels. I think that those are so raised for so many people after the last few years of just fear and unknown and anxiousness and all of those things, that's a really important one. So I hope that this has helped you guys. I know that I've covered a ton of products. So I just want you to know that obviously that's a lot. And I hope that you kind of caught something that really resonated with you as your thing. But we have in our Life Steps app, if you have used oils before, we have all kinds of things that, different resources that talk about different things. We have these recordings on this topic where you can go back and listen and write things down again. Don't feel like, oh my goodness, I didn't catch everything. Hopefully you just kind of catch something so that you can go away and try one thing and then move into another. But I hope that you also just heard how important your emotional well-being is. And if you're over here just trying to do all the physical things as a piece without the emotional, without the mental, without the overall work, then that may very well be your missing piece.
Yeah, emotional well-being is very important, and oils are not going to fix that. Again, therapy. I'm a very big advocate for therapy. If you can't tell, therapy will help you fix that. Oils will not.
Or if you've done emotional work and you just feel so depleted, it may be a nutritional issue. Keep digging. No dead ends. I know hormones are complicated. I know that's such a big topic. Don't give up. You were created for connection, and whether that is physical or emotional or mental, you are worthy of it. You need it. We need to connect deeply with another human being. And whether you are single or married or whatever it is, I do so pray that you will find those deep and powerful and intimate connections with others that you were made for. If you are new to oils tonight, I really would just encourage you to maybe have a conversation with a person that invited you to this call and think about some places to start. If I were brand new and listening to this call, I think where I would start if I were a guy is with Shutron, and if I were a girl with Progessence Plus, with Endoflex, and with one of the massage oils. I think that's where I would start. So depending on your age and your experience, you might want the Dragon Time massage oil, or you might want the Sensation massage oil, and then, and Cypress massage oil, Progessence Plus, or Shutron, and then your Endoflex. Those will give you some really powerful pieces to start kind of giving you that. And then obviously all of us are going to go take our longevity supplement now until the end of time, which is really, really easy. It's one tiny little gel cap a day, and it's so easy to take and we're just always working on bringing our bodies into that upright position. And again, I'm not here as a doctor to prescribe to you or tell you how to do anything. I am just sharing with you the things that I have seen so powerfully helping others over the last decade. And I just hope for all of you that whatever your journey is, that you will find those open doors to create that connection with other people. So I appreciate you guys. We're going to be on next week talking about menopause. So join us there. And I hope hope you have a wonderful night. Bye, everybody.
What a shit show that was. Final thoughts here. Don't rely on oils to help you anywhere, unless maybe you're gonna try lemongrass for mosquitoes. Just saying. Also, lemongrass candles. I had a lemongrass candle from Bath & Body one time, and I put it outside, and the mosquitoes stayed away. Again, just another sidebar when we're talking about, because she brought up lemongrass. Anyway, go to therapy if you need it. Don't be ashamed. Everybody needs therapy, to be honest. This human experience is weird. It's hard, okay? It's okay to get therapy. It's not okay to think that snake oil will heal everything, including your trauma. Don't join an MLM. Thanks for hanging out with me while I talk a bunch of shit, and I will see you in the next one.
Pity how you work hard for me. Like forgetting how to talk. No, I don't like no